For as long as the time is here?
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's just like mine.
Okay. Okay.
Well, hello friends and brothers in arms. Right, so my name is Robert Kasrani. I am educated in part of what has been shared. So I have a applied social science degree, as well as I speak read and write three languages of the Bible and some Greek as well. So those three languages are Aramaic, Arabic, and Hebrew. Right. So, having said that, I have to move to my subject because I've only got half an hour. So, this might come in handy. Right. So. Now, we have to have a look at first, what is the role of man in accordance to the biblical standards, right? And most of us are familiar with the Bible as Christians or otherwise. So what I normally do is start from the beginning. You might have heard the story from the beginning, but it will be with different emphasis. So the first one is, if I can read from Genesis 1:26, and it's the first purpose of man and his destiny. So the authority, God gave authority to man over all the earth, animals and everything. Man has, before the creation of man, according to the biblical faith, is that God gave that authority. Now, contrary to our common beliefs, what was shared, about, there is a equality now, and that equality came in over the years because in marriage, because of the women liberationist movements and other things. So basically what happens is, through the church and through all the religious institutions, they have moved away from the role of man and tried to empower women, which is not necessarily negative, but we have to bear in mind that there is a place for everything in life. So to move on, the first thing that man was created first, and that is ascertained by, even in Christianity, by Paul in Timothy, and therefore the woman, and he says that the man was not deceived, but the woman was. Now, there's a bit of a give and take there, because I believe that man prophesied the fall of his own by saying that when he saw Eve, he said, man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, right? And so that is before there was wife, there was children, but before anything. When he saw Eve, he said, goodbye God, I'm following Eve. Goodbye mother, which is earth, I'm following Eve. So basically, that's where we stand. Now, first, what is the man? What's man? Man is that's normal, isn't it? When we see a woman, we go crazy. So, the woman that we like, of course. Now, so Adam, being according to our beliefs and according to Christian beliefs, and in Luke 3:38, Adam is the son of God. Now, that is a unique place for Adam. Now, I'm going to give you some words that I'm not sure if I write here or here. Which one am I using?
You can write in the middle.
Right here. So Sorry, I'm wiping yours. Right, so, okay, so we have in English, Adam is called spelled I want you to remember this because it's important. It's spelled Adam, okay, Adam. All right, let's go there. Okay, is that better? Okay. Now, I want you to remember this is actually, which is good color, it's Adam. The name is Adam, not Adam. Why Adam? Because Dim in Arabic, Aramaic, and Hebrew means blood, right? So blood here is important, and earth is called in Hebrew is called Ares, right? And in Aramaic is called Arba. So these are the references to earth, right? Why then Adam? Because Adam is taken from, it says in the original, from Adam Ta. Adam Ta is a red ground that's full of minerals, especially iron. You go to a doctor, you're lacking like cells, blood cells, he will say you're lacking iron. This is where it starts from. A red earth that Adam was taken from. Now these are important factors that do not come when we go Adam. So it's scientific as well as it is what you call it, religious. So yeah, I'm just rushing because there's a lot of data. Okay, so if you forget anything, just remember that, right? That Adam is from Adamta, which is, there's heaps of land here, around here that is red land. For instance, Western Australia, it's got a red land and it's lots of iron there. Lots of iron, lots of gold, lots of minerals. So that is where Adam came from a land that is full of minerals and iron. Now, the first man that was created according to Genesis 26 to 27, it says God created Adam, God created man, and he created them, male and female. Lots of theologians say that the first man was androgynous, which means he contained both female and male. And we, even in psychology, it agrees that men have a feminine side to them. And that for them to develop well, they have to develop their feminine side, their emotional side. Now, most of men, because culturally, environmentally, and culturally, environmentally, and biologically, like genetic, have developed traits where they are very logical. They are all forefrontal, right? Which what you were discussing about, you know, but what happens to you is, as when you are born, you rely on your mother. So the first woman in your life is your mother, and she nurtures your emotions. So you don't see, culturally you are being raised as a man, but emotionally, if you think back to a child, you're very soft. You are almost, that feminine part is there, right? But when you grow up, right, you lose that. Why? Because environmental. because of culture, because of religious influence. So we need to get back to developing that part of ourselves. And we see that even in the presentation of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. We see that he's loving, he's forgiving, he's very soft, he cries, he shows emotions. Whereas most of the time, in all of the cultures, especially Eastern cultures and Western cultures as well, man is not allowed to cry, right? So a perfect man would be a man that is close to God. When you develop your relationship with God, like many people who has developed a relationship with God, then you will be like him. Because even in Matthew, Jesus Christ encourages people to be like their Father in heaven, right? And so basically, what you need to focus on is how close you are to God. How close you are to God and how much you can give and take with God. Now, a man is, tell me how I'm going for time, because I need to. 10 minutes. Okay. Well, so when man was created, this is important in the beginning. When man was created, he was given a position to tend the land, and the land is the mother of the man. So the land fed him. So before he met his wife, he was given a job to do, right? And then he was also given a commandment of what to do and what not to do. And one of it is not to eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Now, most people say it was a mistake that he ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, but we see in the writings of the Bible, it says that let's make man in our own image, right? In our own image, after our own likeness. Now, people think that once Adam was created, he was perfect in the likeness of God and his own, is in his own image. However, when the temptation came and man took from the tree, God, after kicking man out of the Garden of Eden, he said, now, not then, now man has become in our likeness, in our own image, because he's got the knowledge of good and evil. Now, so what we call the fall was a plan of God to perfect man. So it's not really a negative thing. You know, most people view it as a negative thing, but it's not. It's actually a positive thing that now man has become like unto us. And from now on, because he's like unto us, like unto God, right? He's got the right to choose good or evil. Very, very simple. And it's up to him to choose good and evil. So that is where a man is. Now, it's important about the role of man is, number one, you start as a son, right? And as a son, you need to develop. Number two, you become a man, right? And you got your responsibilities and number three, you become a husband, right? And husband is where the rubber meets the road. And when the rubber meets the road is important, because this order is by God. We have to accept the order that has been given by God. I was discussing this with Brother Bruce, and we have in every organization, in every what do you call it, company, and every government, we have one head. However, nowadays, in families, we have two heads. Now, anybody with two heads is a monster, is abnormal. Why are we making the abnormal normal? That is the question. Is it because we are under pressure to please somebody, right? Or is it because, you know, these ideas are archaic and outdated? Then we discuss about like the divorce and divorce rate. Well, of course the divorce rate will increase because there's two heads. You can't, no two people on this face of the earth can be 100% compatible. That's why we have leadership. And that's why man was trusted with leadership. It doesn't take away from anything from a woman. A man was created to work out there to deal, let's say, so one of the things that God gave Adam was to name the animals. You know what happens when we are as adolescents? We are in a range, we're surrounded by people who are actually basically like thinking, like animalistic thinking. And we think the same until we mature up and move out of it. So while he was naming animals, interestingly, he was looking for a partner for himself. When does a man start looking for a partner? When he's a teenager, when he's like enraged, right? So he was looking, but God had a different plan. He gave him a perfect partner. So we need to understand that putting a woman in her place in a relationship is not taking anything away from her. You wouldn't put a nice vase with flowers out there. A decorated vase belongs in the best place in your home, right? But you would put something like a donkey to work. Somebody, I'm not saying that taking away from manhood, but it is a rough world out there. And a woman is a delicate vessel. We are all created vessels. And this is important. We are all vessels of God. If you're not happy with your vessel that God has given you, whether you're a man or a woman, well, you know, there's nothing wrong with the world that's not accepting you. There's something wrong with me. I have to fix me, right? You have to be content with the vessel that God has given you, with the vessel that you are chosen, and that vessel is you. And one thing, no matter what we say in psychology, DSM-4, DSM-2, he knows, and he can which is diagnostic mental health, right? It actually lists homosexuality as being abnormal and a sickness. But when we just started, you know, thinking and advancing and all that, we said, no, it's normal. So now, not just normal, it's animal. Sleeping with animals is normal. Sleeping with the tree is normal. Marrying a tree is normal. Where does it stop? Why do we call the normal, the abnormal, normal? And when can we put an end to that? It is important that as men of faith, to take a stand, because that's our position. Our position is leadership. If we abandon our position of leadership, then chaos will prevail. Man has been given to a woman as a cover, and it is stated many times in Ruth. Ruth is coming to Boaz and saying, cover me. cover me. If man does not marry a woman is naturally wanting sex, wanting that. What will happen to her? Right? She will have dishonored life in the community. So it is a cover for women, and even God is a cover for Israel, according to Ezekiel. So basically, that's where we stand. I'm gonna cut it short because my friend here is getting very uncomfortable. Right. Anyway, so if any questions?
Yes, I think the audience is wrong here. Our women need to hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, that's probably right and probably wrong, but well, right and wrong, because we as men have abandoned our position because of pressure of society. It's not just. I'm not saying that you go and you have to be compassionate. God is compassionate. He's a compassionate Father. You have to be compassionate with your woman. You have to be political. You have to be be able to make the woman understand your position. You have to be patient, and these are skills that we can discuss at other times and practice.
While Robert is still here, guys, I'll open for you guys to ask him questions just for the next 7 minutes. 7 minutes, and he's going to attend to your questions. If we could do that, I think the platform is open for you to do that.
Yes.
Do you think this current situation is reversible to be normal,
Good question.
as you are putting it? Or we have to work with one?
Well, the churches and the religious institution have bowed down to the pressures of the world. It is we are the churches, we are the religious institutions. We need to rise up, and we need to tell the world this is where we stand. Look at Trump, for instance. Trump is saying no to all this garbage that came recently of whatever, So he's rejecting it, and he's not a fully he's not a minister. He's a political businessman, right? So we have to stand. Somewhere it's us, the leadership of men. We can't abandon that. Yes.
Would you comment a bit on, I understand you and also take your position in terms of men in leadership, whether family or societal level. The reason why men are not leading, I'm thinking, is because of men. We are not leading not because of women. The reason why men are struggling is the other men that is policing the other men. So we are the problem. The
Absolutely.
police that is coming to the homes to take the men is not a female, it's a male majority of times. And today, if men say we want to revert to 1901, they can do. There's nothing that stops men to do that, except other men.
Yeah.
So it seems to be like that until. So the men's major influence, I don't think it will end. But once it's ending is what is coming from saying, we are not leading in here, but we are also not prepared. The challenge that I have is, okay, I need to lead, but sometimes we have not grown up the way that we explained it very well. And therefore we are having our sisters on the other side. We are men on this side. We also have sisters and mothers that are in the homes of men that are not well developed, that are suffering. To the extent that men that want to lead are giving more flowers and gifts on the Mother's Day. The same men that want to lead.
So what's your question? I lost your question.
My question is, how do we influence other men so that they understand the world of men's leadership?
Well, we can if we keep on teaching this, right, in our institutions, men will wake up to themselves, and they will, like, if somebody else speaks like this, right, We will wake up to ourselves and we will band together. But the problem is not here. The problem is what you just said about it's the laws. Now the laws was changed by an evil man who was Lionel Murphy. He was an Attorney General of Australia from 1972 to 1975. And he was an atheist, Labour, and he's the one that changed the family laws and brought in the family court. And since then, what has happened is the woman liberationist movement have moved and have infiltrated not only the government but also churches, right? So churches are just bowing down to something that is not biblical. And when we wake up to the order that God has put and we fight for that order, it's not about opposing women. It's about bringing a balance. Like you were saying, there's a continuum, right? You know, and a continuum, there's a thing that flows, let's say, a clock that's got a pendulum, right? The pendulum is swinging. So the pendulum has swung too far towards the woman. And what has that brought is destructions to family. So we need to bring the balance back. We need to bring the pendulum back and bring some balance in our world. And the only way to do that is we start. And there, you know, something about, there's heaps of institutions that will help women, but not as many that will help men in their divorces, and not as many, like if a man they come and throw him out of the house and he cannot get a house. But if a woman is thrown out of a house, she will get a house straight away, right? So it is important to, you know, be a bit of activism that's required from all of us.
But how can you balance it? Because sometimes you can even go extreme. If you look at Andrew and Tristan Tate brothers, where they are talking about women being property and stuff. How do you then avoid the extreme of men going to the extent that they view women as property?
Well, we have gone beyond that, right? Now most men understand that they cannot oppose women. Most men understand the laws are too strong, right? Now we need a balance. We need to bring it back to understanding, right? Okay, we understand this, but look at the laws. The laws before, yeah, they used to give you 1 year of AVO against men. Now it's 5 years to 10 years or forever, right? Every day, the woman activism is changing the laws. What do we need to do as men?
It's too aggressive.
Yes, wake up. It's too aggressive. Let us do something about it.
What can you do without looking like an idiot?
Yes.
You know, as I was telling you, my brother, for me to survive, I'm a very confident, unapologetic, educated African man.
Yeah.
I don't apologize. I'll walk straight and not that I'm proud or anything. But if I go into the workplace with my persona, I'll be fired in 2 weeks' time. I have to apologize. I have to be like, oh, okay. So, and that's how I'm surviving in employment at the moment. If I go there as I am, no, it's not acceptable.
Well, you know, in biblical times, we have. I'm not saying this is your position, but in biblical times, we had people who stood up against emperors who can chop their heads off or burn them alive, and that is what we need to. We need to develop that you know, get up and go in us, right? I'm not saying it's your calling, but you know, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego went into fire, right? You might think this is just some fabulous story, right? But they were saved by God, you know. So there's always, and not necessarily you will go through fire, but you will go through prison, you will go through things. And we have like a lot of people. What happened to the leader, what's his name, of South Africa, Mandela? He went to prison. Did that stop him? No. And what happened to him? He's the modern thing of example of the biblical terms, right? Do not stop. You got to keep going. You got to be persistent.
Yeah.
Myself, I'll be of the view that I think the current probably generation that we have, whether men or women, that one we have lost it. But it's up to the men who are here. We've got daughters, we've got sons. We start from there to shape them in the values that we believe that these are the right values. The ones we have in our homes at the moment, my brother, you have to pray to God. You can do what you can do, but you have to pray to God. That's true. But I'll be happy if his son is going to marry my daughter.
Yeah.
And I prepared my daughter in the right way. As we are here, I think we are setting up the next generation. That's my belief.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably if we start from our own children and say, look, these are the values, most probably our wives will listen when we are teaching our kids.
You're reminding me of what the wise king said, Solomon, in 1:8 of Proverbs. It says, my son, right, listen to the instructions of your father. It's actually the bondage of your father. The ones that, like, because the father will enforce, right, and follow the Torah. The Torah is the laws of your mother. So the mother gives you the how to maneuver around your dad, right? And she will instruct you, like, you know. But if you go out of it, she'll tell you this is what dad will do, right? So basically, this is important. The sonship, you know, growing the next generation is important. And to reverse this situation, it won't be in 1 or 2 days. We got here over the years. It's going to take years to reverse it. And we have to be patient, and we have to be determined.
Gentlemen, I would like to thank Robert for his presentation. You see, I erred in allowing a pastor to come to the pulpit. I know they will go home forever. But he has done very well. We do have probably an intergenerational fight on our hands. And that can only start now. How we are going to do this is profound. I don't know how I can express it, but it's for every one of us to take the challenge, as challenged by Robert. I know the brain can only concentrate for a period of up to an hour, if I've stretched it, 30 minutes at most. If you guys could stand for the next 25 minutes, hang out, because the topic that comes after this is probably the one that we have brought our guest for. So for 25 minutes, we go to the bathrooms, and I would urge those of us with mobile phones who are very busy like me to put them on silent for the respect of our presenters. So please, if we could just relax for the next 25 minutes, we go to the bathrooms, have a drink, have a conversation, and then we come back 5 o'clock and we continue. Thank you.